Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Housing and Dining live question and answer session on this evening. We are so excited that you have joined us, but we are even more excited that you will be living with us this fall. I am Chloe Jones, Assistant Director for Housing Administrative Services, and here with me.
Hi, I'm Kerrigan Hightower. I'm a student at Texas Women's University, and I also work in housing.
So today we're going to share information regarding the upcoming self-selection process and other important housing information. We do, however, want to focus on any questions that you may have, and Kerrigan will be our moderator. But before we get to questions, I wanted to talk to you all about our upcoming first round of our self-selection process. And just to remind everyone, self-selection is when students who have applied for on-campus housing are able to go in and actually place themselves and a roommate preference, if they have one, in a space, and also select a meal plan. And so for our first time in college, new students who are either in an LLC or you're just first time in college, you will be living in our Parliament Village. For our students who are continuing freshmen and rising sophomores, you will be living in Gwyner Hall or Stark Hall. And for our juniors and our seniors and family housing students, you will be living in our Lowry Woods apartment community. So I just wanted to let you know that before all students who applied by March 31st will be in this first round of our self-selection process. So, and that process begins on Monday, this upcoming Monday, April the 12th at 8 a.m. So you should have received emails from us, PowerPoints showing you step by step, line by line, our process and how to go in and actually self-select your space as well as your meal plan, and also how to add a roommate within that self-selection process. And no worries if you missed the date or you don't find time, hopefully you will next week to self-select. Then any self-selection process we have thereafter, you will be able to be a part of that process. But we're hoping that all students who applied by March 31st will log on next week, beginning Monday, April 12th at 8 a.m. and select your space. I also wanted to talk to students who may have signed their housing application who were under 18 years old, or at the time that they actually signed their application, they were under 18 and maybe 18 now. We will need a parent verification signature from you. So be sure that you are checking your email as well as having your parent check their email for a verification signature request that they will have in their inbox. They will need to send that back to us so that we can mark your application as complete. So that is a piece of housekeeping business we wanted to share with our students who are under 18. One other thing before we start taking questions, I wanted to talk about My College Roomie. My College Roomie is our roommate matching platform that we have for new students who are first time in college or continuing freshmen, rising sophomores, who are able to go into this platform and possibly find a roommate if you don't have a roommate choice already in mind, or you can go into My College Roomie and add a roommate preference who you already know you'd like to live with. But just be sure that you note, in order for you to place anyone in your room on the day that you self-select, you all have to be matched up in My College Roomie. You should have received instructions and emails on how to access that platform, as well as how to match up and add your roommate when you are self-selecting in your space. Always remember that during your self-selection date and period, only one person needs to go in and add yourself to a room or an apartment. So just be sure that when you are going in to self-select your space, that you designate one of you to go in and actually place yourself in the room, and then it'll ask if you want to add your roommate preference in, and you just click on their name and they'll be added into the room. Because what happens is that if you go in individually, the system will see that one person is trying to get in and place themselves in a room, and the other individual is trying to get themselves placed in a room, and it may end up putting you all in two separate rooms. So we want to caution against that. And so again, just make sure you are reading the information that we sent you, and it is spelled out. So let me pause there because I've been doing a lot of talking, and open the floor up for some questions. Kerrigan, what do you have for us?
So it looks like someone has asked, for those who are aiming to live in Lowry Woods and cannot choose a roommate via the college roomie, when can we find out who we're rooming with?
So once you have placed yourself in that particular space, it will show up who your roommates who have also selected that space will show up in your housing portal. So again, when you self-select the space, as you are logging into the housing portal that you go into to self-select your space, it will let you know who you are rooming with. And you can always go back to that information. You'll have an opportunity to email that student and reach out to that student before the school starts in the fall, and so that will be your opportunity. One other thing I will have to say is students who are living in Lowry Woods are not able to go into My College Roomie and match up with the roommate because our limited number of spaces in Lowry is just not guaranteed that you'll be able to be paired. But there is a chance that we will have an apartment that may be completely empty, or an apartment that may have another space available, may have two spaces available. So you would just put yourself in one space and your roommate preference could put themselves in the other space if that space is available. But again, we just didn't want to set students up for disappointment with saying, hey, go into My College Roomie, pick your roommate, and then space may or may not be available for you to pick in Lowry's to be together. And so I hope that answered your question.
So our next question, is there limited spaces for the dorms, and how can we guarantee we get a space?
So students who apply by May 1st are guaranteed a space. And so that should be the least of your worries. If you want to live with us, we have space for you. And so I hope that answered your question. Yes, we have space for you.
Someone also asked, is there a code system for the types of room layouts in the dorms/apartments in case we're wanting a certain one?
So as far as we have room floor plans on our website that you are able to look at if you log on to twu.edu/housing, and to the left you'll see where the buildings are listed there. So if you click on Lowry Woods, you'll see the floor layout. In regards to the actual apartment floor plan, that is something that we do not have available to students, and you would have to just know, or you can contact the office, and we'd be more than happy to walk you through where exactly, if you are, have a certain preference for a certain building, we can kind of walk you through that process. But as far as an actual building layout, that is something that we don't have posted, but we do have floor plans.
Yes. So someone asked, can you pick a room without picking a roommate as of yet?
Yes, you can. You are not, having a roommate is just a perk for students if they want to have a roommate. Students can absolutely go in and pick a room, and more than likely someone else will pair themselves in that room with you. I would just encourage you, if you haven't if you don't know at the time of signing up for a space who your roommate is, if it's not showing in your housing portal, I would say go back maybe after a couple of days or maybe a week to see if someone has placed themselves in the same space that you're in. And if that's the case, go ahead and shoot them an email, get to know them, and get ready for fall.
So someone asked, when is the date we are able to move in?
So moving, great questions. You all are asking the important stuff today, and I love it. So move-in will be August the 17th and the 18th. And while we're there, I can just go ahead and talk to you all a little bit about our move-in process. So over the past few years, we have what you call Uss Movers, which is like a cruise ship style move-in. And that is for our students who are living in Gwyner Towers, Stark Towers, and our Parliament Village. And that process, what you'll do is you'll drive up, and our movers will place all of your items into, they will label them and place them into a bin. Once you check in and get in the line to get on the elevator, by the time you get to your room, your items are there. And so that's a service, like I said, there is no charge or cost to students for this service. But we just want to make move-in day as easy as possible and for you to focus on your family and just the exciting time that it is. And so we provide that service to students. And last year, because of the pandemic, we did have an early drop-off option that we will probably have again this year. And that's where students who opted to come in a weekend or two before move-in day could just come and bring their things, sign up for a specific time, and then on move-in day, you don't even have to worry about the hustle and bustle of the line. You can just check in and be in your space. And so, and for our Lowry Wood students, you don't have the Uss Movers. However, we do have volunteers that assist in moving, and you are going in different time slots, and that's for all students. You'll have a day that you'll go, like Gwyner and Parliament may go one day, and Stark and Lowry may go another day. And you will also move in at different time slots. And so you'll get all of that information probably at the top of August.
We got the questions are flowing in.
I love it. Come on, bring it on. I love it.
So someone asked the cost difference between living with a roommate or by yourself.
Sure. So the cost difference, let me pull out my handy dandy rate sheet. So if you, say for instance, you put yourself in a double in Parliament, if you place yourself in a double in Parliament and no one comes to live with you, which is highly unlikely, then we're not going to charge you for the entire room. You will only be charged the double rate. And you can find all of our rates on our housing website. Again, it's twu.edu/housing. And so for a double in Parliament Village, that is $3,630, and that is per semester. If you wanted a single room in Parliament, it would be $4,120. And again, a single is a room that you have totally to yourself. But I won't go down the list because it'll take a while to share all of the rates. But you can feel free, again, twu.edu/housing, click rates and contract terms to the left, and you'll have all of the information that you need.
So someone asked, how will moving in work with COVID? You already touched on this. Maybe specifics, I guess, they're wanting to know about the flow?
Sure. So, again, with move-in, we are, number one, here at TWU, your safety is our priority. And so with that being said, we have ensured that we have less individuals moving in at the same time. We have the early drop-off option that we have 2 weeks or a week before school starts. And we also make sure that Unfortunately, we know that a lot of times families like to go inside the residence hall with their student when they're moving in. We're asking that you limit that to one individual, max two, to go up with you to your actual room to move in. And again, we have our cleaners that are wiping things down. We have our hand sanitization stations that are everywhere throughout the building. And we also still have our mask mandate on campus. So anytime you are in a TWU facility, you are required to wear a mask. And we also will make note and send out information to students to do a self-check before they enter our campus. Are you, feeling feverish, and are you sick, or do you not feel well? Then, let's just wait before we come on campus, again, if you're not feeling well. So putting all of those things together is our way of making sure that students are safe. We also have taken away a lot of our public seating areas in our common areas, just to make sure that we're enforcing social distancing. And so those are some of the things that we've put in place.
Okay, someone asked, how will the LLC rooms work?
That's a broad question. It's a big question. Our LLC program is a tremendous program, definitely a point of pride here within Housing and Dining. And it is, I'm not sure, it sounded like it paused. We're good? Okay. All righty. It's our LLCs is one of our points of pride here at Texas Woman's University within Housing and Dining. And it allows you to live with individuals that have your same major or your same interest. And so if you have requested to be in an LLC, then you'll be living on that floor with your LLC mates, and you will have to have a roommate that is within that LLC. So if you have a roommate back home that is not, in your same LLC, unfortunately, you would not be able to live with that individual. But please do not let that hinder you from being in an LLC. It is worth having new experiences. Maybe your friend lives in another building or right down the hall. Trust me, you will see and get enough of each other. I would strongly encourage you to consider, if you have not already, signing up for an LLC and being a part of that program.
I was a part of an LLC and I loved it.
Yes.
It was one of the best experiences, and I keep in touch with some of the people that I met my freshman year for years now. I'd highly suggest it to anyone.
Gotcha. And what LLC were you in, Kerrigan?
It was the Health Sciences in Gwyner.
Sciences. Awesome.
So it was a great experience. One of my floor mates, I would say, we are both employees in housing and we love it.
Okay, good. Good to hear.
It's a great experience.
Good to know, yes.
Someone asked, how will you know if you are a member of Success?
How will you know? So you should have been emailed about being a part of Success, but what I would ask you to do is you can email cjones57@twu.edu. So that's cjones57, that's me. And I will forward your email to the person who can answer that question for sure. Mary Maddox, who is our assistant director for residence education, oversees our living learning communities, and I can be sure that she gets that information and have someone reach out to you.
Okay. Someone asked, what is a deluxe single?
A deluxe single is a single that has like a living area for students. So within Gwen, we have a regular residence hall rooms, but there are some rooms that have a small little living area. It's only one bed in the room. It has a micro fridge, but again, there's this small living area. It has a bathroom of its own as well. And so it's a little bit bigger than a normal single room would be in Gwen Hall. So that's why we call it a deluxe single. And that is an overflow space for our juniors and seniors in the event spaces in Lowry Woods are not available. And I want to remind students that are living in Parliament Village as well as Gwen and Stark that students who live in any residence halls are required to have a meal plan. And so I would just suggest that you go to our housing and or dining site to look at your meal plan options as well as what you will receive when you purchase those meal plan options. We have Qdoba, we have Chick-fil-A, we have boba tea. We have a lot of amazing retail dining locations on campus that I know that you will enjoy. But yeah, get with mom, dad, or your guardian and figure out what meal plan will work best for you.
Someone asked if we got accepted already and did the housing contract for priority housing selection, but you are waiting to see if somebody you want to room with to get accepted. How does that work?
You would just have to wait until they're accepted. I mean, I would, if that's what you like, I wouldn't suggest it, but if you were to go ahead and self-select your space next week, if you're eligible, then there is a likelihood that someone could place themselves in that room with you. And if that's not what you're wanting, you may want to wait until the individual that you're waiting to get accepted until their time comes. And then that way, you'll have a better chance of putting yourself together. We can't 100% guarantee rooms, or we can guarantee rooms, but we can't guarantee roommates for our students who are under our residency requirement after May 1st. But we certainly you'll have a really good chance. But just try to get it in as soon as possible. And when I say we guarantee housing for students under the residency requirement, that means students who are first year and second year students.
So the same person who was asking about LLC rooms, they asked, how do LLC rooms work when they are selecting a room?
So you will only be able to select a space that is in your specific community. And so our health sciences, I believe, are in North Parliament, and our other LLCs like President's Leadership Council, Terry Scholars, I think all of those students are in South Parliament. And so you'll see the building that you are eligible to live in and the floor that you're eligible to live in once you log in to actually self-select your space.
Someone asked, I think that was answering the question about rooms for the LLCs or the honors housing, are they same as the rooms shown online for Parliament Village? So I guess, like you said, they'll be assigned for the room.
Yes, you'll have specific rooms that will be, labeled honors for honor students to be a part of. And like I said, once you log in to self-select your space on that day, you'll see those spaces and where they are. But they are all in Parliament Village.
Okay, next question. Someone asked if they can use financial aid to cover their dorm expenses.
Most students are able to use financial aid to cover your housing and dining expenses. Got a tongue tied there. But you would have to reach out to financial aid to see what your exact award package is. I don't like talking to students about just payment and financial obligations because I don't know exactly what your specific award package is. But, we have some students who their financial aid package is able to pay for everything, including housing and dining, and some students who may not, and you may have to be on a payment plan or, pay some or very little out of pocket. But again, that's a question for financial aid.
Okay, I think we're catching up to the questions. I've been answering the questions, some of them in the chat if they're just easy questions, but if I didn't get to yours, scroll down or type it again, please. Someone asked, how do we avoid rooming with the opposite gender?
Well, you're not able to room with an opposite gender. So males can't live with females. You have however, they do in Gwen and Stark, they do live on the same floors. They just live in different rooms with their own private bathroom. So say for instance, you have females in one space and then males in another space. In Gwen, you all can live beside each other because you're not sharing a bathroom with each other. For Parliament Village, with the community bathrooms, we have Mary's Hall is all women, all females, and then we have floors of either women or men in Parliament Village, and of course you have your bathrooms to yourself. So yeah, that's that.
And someone asked, will this be recorded? And yes, it will.
Yes, it will.
Recorded.
We're recording. I didn't know that. So yes, this will be recorded.
I'm scrolling up to see. Payment plan. Someone had asked questions about payment. I had responded that the bursar office does have the dates for your payment for tuition and for housing. So just make sure to look at the bursar office, the page online, if they'll update it for the upcoming semester. Nothing has been posted yet. I just checked. And a payment plan, you can sign up for that and there's info on there. We got a new comment. Are we able to pick a certain floor to live on, Lowry Woods specifically?
You can, if it's available. You know, we have very limited space in Lowry, and so because we have our priority room selection for our on-campus students in February, they've selected a lot of the spaces, and so you all will be able to select from what has been left from that process. And so I can't guarantee that you will have a specific be able to pick a specific floor, but students in this first process have a better chance of maybe a student who is in a later process later on in the summer. And what I wanted to remind you all to do is to go to twu.edu/housing, and on the left you'll see new student self-selection process. Be sure you are clicking on that information and reading through all of that so that you'll know your exact self-selection dates. Again, students who applied by March 31st will be in this first round of self-selection that is coming up on Monday, April 12th. It will start at 8 a.m. on Monday and it will end at 11:59 on the following Sunday. And so hopefully that's information that you will jot down. And remember, if you miss your time this time, you can go on, you can self-select in future processes. But again, we're encouraging you to go in, select your housing, select your meal plan as soon as possible. We've also sent you all emails to spell out the entire process for you. There is a PowerPoint as well as information like building acronyms that you may see once you go in to self-select your space. It is important that you are paying attention to those. You will also need to just be sure that there is only one person on the computer when it's time to place yourself in a space if you have a roommate preference. Because once you go in to select the space, the computer will ask you, do you want to add this person? And you say yes. And so that hems a lot of our students up when they don't listen to us and they end up putting themselves in separate rooms. So we just strongly encourage you all, again, to read over the PowerPoint information and feel free to call us in our office. Our information, we'll list our information for you, as well as follow us on social media if you don't already, at TWU Housing on all major platforms. We're not on Facebook, but for Instagram and for Twitter, you can certainly find us there. So yeah, do we have any more questions, Kerrigan?
We do. We have plenty.
All righty.
Someone had asked what kind of cooking items can we have in our room, and I think prior, a couple messages before, someone had asked if they could have an air fryer. So those kind of
got you.
Same question.
No cooking elements are allowed in residence halls. So if you are living in Parliament Village, in Gwyner, or in Stark, then the answer to that question is no. Unfortunately, you cannot bring any type of open cooking element, air fryer, anything like that. In Lowry Woods, yes, you can. It comes with a stove in the kitchen in each unit. If you want to cook, there is a kitchen in every residence hall that you may check out or request to use that space. You'll just need to talk to someone at the front desk, or yes, I think since the pandemic, students are needing to request that they use the kitchen. And again, you're still required to have a meal plan living in residence halls. The kitchen there is for you to say you wanted to have like a cooking night with a roommate or some friends, or y'all want to pop in a pizza, or make some wings for a movie night. That's what the kitchen is for. It is not for you to prepare meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay, someone had asked, is the 5-day meal plan still here for the next academic year? It only shows the 7-day unlimited meal plan and the other options.
So we eliminated the 5-day meal plan because of the use. It was not being widely used by our students. And so, yes, we did keep the 7-day unlimited. We also added the Block 100 with $800 dining dollars. Prior to this past year, we had several plans with a lot of dining dollars, but what we found out was our students, they weren't using, the dining dollars, and so we didn't want students to continue to, buy meal plans that they weren't able to use all of their dining dollars, and so we decided to come to a happy medium where students still had the option of eating in the dining hall if they'd like with the Block 100 meals. That means you get 100 meals for the dining hall, and then you have 800 additional dollars to spend at Starbucks, and who doesn't want Starbucks, or Chick-fil-A, or Qdoba, or boba tea, like I stated earlier.
Next question, do we have to take a COVID test before moving in?
No, you are not required to take a COVID test before you move in. But again, we do strongly encourage, and you'll get emails from us prior to your move in, to always do what we call here at TWU a self-check. Are you ill? Are you feeling feverish? Do you have a temperature? Those kinds of things. If you answer yes to any of those questions, then we say do not come to campus. If a family member or anyone that will be riding with you, if they're sick or have a fever or anything like that, again, we would just for your safety and for the safety of others, we would just encourage you not to come to campus. And again, we will send that information to you, to the self-checklist for reporting purposes. And then, if you have any additional questions at that time, you can certainly let us know. And I know that while we're there, I know that COVID is on the mind, still on the mind. We're a year out with the pandemic, and COVID is still on everybody's mind. And so I wanted to let you know that, again, your safety is number one for us, and what we ensure that you'll have when you come to our campus. Again, we mandate masks. You have to wear a mask if you are inside a TWU facility. In addition to that, you'll find hand sanitization stations all throughout the residence halls. You'll see our cleaning staff doing extra cleaning in our public areas. We have seating in our common areas that have socially distanced themselves. And so we just want to make sure that when you come to us that you are at ease. Even with our programming, although we do have in-person programming, because we do feel like that fellowship, that community is important. We do it safely. We're requiring masks, we're socially distancing, and still are able to have fun. But then we also provide virtual opportunities for students. Say, for instance, you may not want or feel like coming to a program, or you just feel like you might be a little safer doing something virtually. You have that option as well. And then we have some programs where, say for instance, I think we did a Build-A-Bear program where you are able to pick up your materials like the stuffing and the actual animal and take it back to your room. So we hopefully perfected some things to try to still live during this pandemic, and hope that you'll see the same when you come to campus.
Someone had asked, if you or your roommate get COVID, do you have to quarantine in your dorm?
You will have to quarantine in a residence hall. We have specific quarantine spaces in one of our residence halls. And so, yes, you would be required. Your information would be sent to our risk management department, and they would let us know what we would need to do moving forward. So yes, to answer your question, yes, food and meals are provided while students are in quarantine. Some students opt and elect to quarantine at home, and that is an option as well. But yes, you will have to quarantine in a building on campus.
There had been some questions about having guests in the dorms for Lowry Woods, if there's a different guest policy compared to the residence halls.
So there isn't a different guest policy in light of COVID. I think we restricted, do not quote me on this, but I think we restricted guests to one guest per student this year because of COVID. And so again, with vaccination still, they're rolling out slowly but surely. We don't know what people's statuses are. We just want to be sure that we're keeping, we want you to have fun. This is your time to have fun and live the college life. But we also want to be mindful and keep everyone safe as well. So we're asking that you limit your guests to one per student. And if that changes, we would certainly communicate that to you.
Okay. Someone asked, the quarantine rules apply to Lowry. Can we quarantine in Lowry? Yes, you can.
Yes, you can quarantine in Lowry, but it also, I don't want to get into specifics because it's case by case. It just depends upon what's going on. There in some of the 3-bedroom apartments, the B and C spaces share a bathroom, and so that may be a situation where we would have to move a student out. But again, I don't want to get into the specifics. I'm hoping that no one on this chat will, have that happen to them. But again, if it does happen, we will be more than prepared to handle it and make sure that you're safe.
Someone asked, if you want to get vaccinated, how do we do it?
So I know that the university offered students who may have to be in contact with, because they're in the nursing field and have to go out to do their rounds, or, they're in a hospital setting or facility, that they are eligible to get vaccinated. But again, I don't want to talk about the details of vaccination because by the time you all get to campus, I don't know what vaccination availability we'll have for you. And so I would just encourage you now, if it's your turn, I think everybody should be able to get vaccinated after the 19th. And so I would say when it's your turn, please, please, please go get vaccinated. Sign up in your community somewhere. But I would try not to wait till you come to campus, because I don't know if that an offer would be extended to you if you did not have, direct contact with patients or people as a result of your major.
Someone had asked about the TW dining hall. When does it start serving breakfast? So I'm going to look up the times right now.
I think it's 7, but it's at 7. It starts, the dining starts at 7.
Yep, 7 a.m. And our dining hall was finished last year, I believe.
Yes, we have a brand new facility. Yes, Kerrigan, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so our dining hall is in close proximity to all the residence halls, so that's really nice that you don't have to walk all the way across campus. And there's so many options there. You have the pizza and the burgers, and there's a stir fry station. They're also doing different cooking classes, or the chefs will be featuring a new dish sometimes during the month. I think in the middle of April, they're going to do like a specialty food where you can sign up and have special cuisine. There's the healthier, where you get your fruits and vegetables, your fresh fruits, sandwiches, a salad bar, waffle maker, cereal. I could go on. There's so much that you can get at the dining hall. And then someone asked, if you just purchase dining dollars, but you do not use them all in the fall semester, do they carry over to the spring? Yes, they do.
Awesome. So while you have the mic, Kerrigan, can you talk to students just about living on campus, your on-campus experience? What can they expect living on campus when they come in the fall?
Right. So I fortunately have lived in all of the residence halls. So I feel like there's a lot of benefits to each hall that you have. Right now I live in Parliament Village. And it's really nice because it's our brand new dorm, and just the environment is really friendly with our communal spaces. Like, we do have the space on the first floor where there's a TV and the furniture is spaced out. So still, someone had asked about COVID with just our dining and then living on campus too. We really do take that, and students' health is like our top priority. So to answer that question for the dining hall, there's stickers on the floor where everyone is spaced out. They're keeping track of how many people are in the dining hall. It's one way in, one way out. You can have to-go options, so you don't have to eat in the dining hall, but there is spacing limited. So there's tables are spaced out, and you flip over a sticker that they have on your table when you're done eating, and then they know to clean your table immediately after. So yeah, just living on campus is a great experience. You really get to meet people from your same field that you may be going into, different people from different cultures, walks of life. So yeah, and our programs that we put on in the residence halls are always a great time to interact with others. Per COVID, yeah, we're all wearing our masks, we're all being safe. But yeah, we just had Pioneer Palooza yesterday, which was a great time. They had barbecue food. There were like 7 different kinds of cupcakes and desserts that you could have, and there was a live band. So they're always having programs so the students can relax from studying. But we do have studying services as well on campus because school is the top priority for our students. So yeah, I could go on and on about campus and what it has to offer, but those are just a few things. And then what other questions do we have? Are students over the age of 21 allowed to live in Gwyner Stark if Lowry Woods is full?
Yes, Gwyn Hall. You'll be allowed to live in Gwyn, and possibly Stark if it warrants us overflowing into Stark. But yes, you will have space. The only thing that caveat to that is that you will be required to have a meal plan if you're living in a residence hall. If you're living in the apartment community, you are not in Lowry Woods, you are not required to have a meal plan because, like I stated earlier, you have a kitchen. And so, yes.
Someone asked, do sororities have different houses, or are they also living in places such as Stark or Parliament? I could answer that if that's
Sure,
okay.
yeah.
I was a resident assistant in Stark for 2 years, and 1 year I had the sorority floor. So when I say sorority floor, it is part of the floor that is like the student's house per se. So that side of the floor is decorated with the like we have Tri Sigma, AO Pi, Alpha Gamma Delta are in Stark Hall, so you have certain rooms that you can live in Stark Hall that other members of your sorority are living in too. So you can still just be on campus close to other residents, but have that designated space, and they have their chapter room as well as in the building. And then any recommendations on what to bring to live in dorms?
Such a long list, and it really just depends upon where you're living. So if you're living in Parliament, you know that there are community bathrooms, so you'll have to, bring your shower caddy with all of your toiletries and those kinds of things. There is a micro fridge in each of the rooms. Students can bring an additional refrigerator, but you can't bring an additional microwave, only one microwave per room. And that a micro fridge is in all of our residence halls, one per room. And basically what we'll do, probably around June, you'll see our move-in website go live. And on our move-in website, we will have what to bring and what to leave at home. And so again, it will just depend upon where you're living, because of course, if you're living in an apartment, you wouldn't bring, things that you would bring if you were living in a residence hall. So be on the lookout for that. I don't want to go down the list. And it's also what I strongly encourage you to do, and Kerrigan can attest to this, is to talk to your roommate. A lot of times, if you just have that conversation with your roommate, you prevent overstuffing your room, for lack of a better way of putting it. And I know sometimes people don't like to share certain things. You have your non-negotiables that I'm not going to share this, and I certainly get that. But I think that the floor can only hold one rug, and so you may, want to have those kinds of conversations with your roommate before you come to campus.
Someone said, how would transportation work if you don't have a car?
Mo and Joe. Our campus is not large in the sense where you would be exhausted walking from one end of the campus to the other. Trust me, I would definitely not steer you wrong in that regard. And so if you are a commuter student, then we have a shuttle service. However, it was suspended because of COVID. And so again, we don't know yet what that would look like for the fall. But as far as getting, to class in the morning, or, navigating around campus, I would say give yourself 10 minutes. And that's a stretch. Most places 5 minutes to walk. And you will be fine. And so, that's what I would say.
Someone asked, if we are a freshman, can we be an RA?
You can answer that question.
So, being an RA is a great experience, but you do need that 1 year of experience as a student living on campus to then apply to be an RA. There's a lot that you gain from just being a student before you go right into being a resident assistant. So you need to enjoy the student experience. It is a little different when you have a job where it's a live-in job.
Yes, and whoever asked that question, thank you so much, because that is a great segue to say to you all that housing and dining is one of the largest employers on campus of students. And so it may not be an RA position that you can have in your first year, but we certainly have student assistant positions. We have tech positions that go into the residence halls and check computers, and we have maintenance assistants. You can work in our dining hall. So we, again, we employ a lot of students, and those jobs are typically on our career services website, Handshake, and you'll find out more information about Handshake later. Can't get into that today because I don't know all the details of it, but just know that we will certainly be more than willing to hire you if you're eligible for the position. And you may not even want to work, your first year. You may say, hey, I just want to gain some leadership experience. And we encourage you to be a part of our community councils and our residence hall association, and because they plan programs for your peers. I see someone asked, can you bring a car? Yes, you can bring a car. You will need to get a parking permit. And you can go onto our parking site. Basically, you go to the main TWU site, put in parking in the search box, and it'll show you how to get parking stickers and all of that other stuff.
Mm-hmm. And there's plenty of parking by Parliament. They had just extended that parking last year, I think. Mm-hmm. So we're not short on parking, and there's a parking garage as well if you want to park there.
We are getting close to the hour, so if we have a lot of questions, I will say we have time for maybe 2 more questions, and then we can we'll be doing these all throughout the summer and the spring, and so if you had a burning question and you didn't get it in this time, if you can wait, feel free to do that, or you can always reach out to us via email, via phone, or via our social media platforms. So we'll take 2 more questions. All righty. I think that must be everything. I do want to thank Kerrigan for joining us this afternoon, being our moderator. Oh, I think something just came in.
Yeah.
Oh.
Move-in day is August 16th and 17th. If we want to move in early, how do we do it?
So we'll send information out to you all. We don't have the specifics of our early move-in process yet. We're firming up those dates, but know that we will certainly get that information to you once we have it solidified. And Lowry move-in date will be more than likely the 17th of August. Yes, it is separated for each building.
Good question.
That is a great question. Lowry Woods students will not be able to move in early. Students living in Gwyner, Stark, and Parliament will be able to move in early. One more question, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here and for spending almost an hour with us. We're excited. We're ready for you all to come on campus with us this fall. We're ready to program with you. We're ready to make new connections, new friendships with you, and just for you to get this campus with a heart feeling that each and every one of us hold near and dear to us. And so we're excited. We can't wait for you all to join us. And I just want to put out a reminder to you that self-selection starts Monday, April the 12th, 8 a.m. for all students who have applied by March 31st. It will end on the following Sunday at 11:59 p.m. For more information regarding that whole process, go to twu.edu/housing, and you'll see the new student self-selection process, and also make sure you are checking your TWU email. Thank you all again and have a wonderful, wonderful time, evening, and we'll see you soon.